Don't give up on English. My name is Elena. I came to the United States when I was 33 years old. I left everything behind. My family, my friends, my job. I came with one goal, to build a better life. But there was one big problem. I didn't speak English. Not one word. I thought it would be okay. I thought I would learn fast. People told me, just listen and repeat. You will learn. But that was not true. It was harder than I ever imagined. The first week, I felt lost. I needed to take the bus, but I couldn't understand the signs. I asked for help, but I didn't understand the answers. I got on the wrong bus 3 times. Each time, I ended up in the wrong place. I felt small. I felt like a child again. I thought, how can I live here if I don't even know how to go home? One day, I went to the doctor. I had a fever. The nurse asked me questions. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't explain what I felt. The doctor gave me medicine, but I wasn't sure how to take it. I felt scared. What if I take it the wrong way? What if I get worse? I looked for work, but every time someone asked, "Do you speak English?" I had to say no. That word, no, closed every door again and again. Rejection after rejection. I felt useless. I started thinking maybe I made a mistake. Maybe this country is not for me. But then something small happened. One night, I turned on the TV. A show came on. It was in English. I didn't understand, but something inside me said, "Don't change the channel." That moment was the beginning of everything. After that night with the TV, I wanted to learn. But wanting is not the same as doing. I didn't know where to start. I had no books. I had no teacher. I had no money for school. I only had the TV. So I watched every night. I didn't understand the words, but I kept watching. I thought maybe my brain will catch something. But days passed, and still nothing. No progress. No change. I felt stupid at the store. I still couldn't speak. A woman asked me something. I said sorry, no English. She just walked away. Another time I asked for help, but the man answered too fast. I nodded, but I didn't know what he said. I walked away without what I needed. I was tired of feeling confused all the time. One day, I needed to take my child to school. A teacher spoke to me. She smiled, but I didn't understand her words. I stood there, silent. My child looked at me. I felt like I failed. I was the mom, but I couldn't even talk to the teacher. How can I protect my child if I can't speak? That question stayed in my mind all day. Later that week, someone asked me in the hallway, "How are you?" I froze. I had heard this before on TV. I remember the answer. "I'm fine, thank you." I said it. The person smiled and walked away. I felt happy for 2 seconds. Then I thought, what if they say something else next time? I only know one sentence. That's not enough. I was tired. I was ashamed. I was angry. I told myself maybe English is not for me. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. But deep inside, a voice whispered something else. Try again. After that small win, the "I'm fine, thank you" moment, I wanted more. I wanted to learn more phrases. I wanted to speak. I wanted to understand. But every time I tried, something happened. Something that made me feel small again. I went to the library. I thought maybe I could find a book, but all the books were in English. I opened one and tried to read the first page. I didn't understand anything. I closed it. I looked around. Everyone else seemed to know what they were doing. I thought, I don't belong here. I left without taking any book. I told myself, try something else. So, I started watching TV with English subtitles. At first, my eyes moved too fast. I couldn't follow the words. I paused. I rewound. I tried again. It took me 1 hour to finish 10 minutes of the show. I didn't care. I told myself, slow is okay. Then I found a video on YouTube. A woman told her story, how she learned English after moving to the US. I didn't understand all the words, but I understood the feeling. She said, don't wait to feel ready. Just start. That stayed in my heart. So, I started speaking to myself in the kitchen. In the bathroom, I repeated words from the shows. I made fake conversations. I asked a question and answered it. I said, what time is it? And then answered it as 5 o'clock. I didn't care if it sounded silly. I told myself no one can hear you, just speak. Then I got brave. I went to the store and spoke. Hi. The cashier said, hi, how are you? I smiled and said my line. I'm fine, thank you. But then she said, do you want a bag? I froze. I didn't know what she said. Again, I felt lost. At home, I searched that sentence online. Do you want a bag? I learned it. I wrote it down. I practiced it. I said it 10 times. The next day I went back. She asked again. This time I said yes, please. I felt proud, very proud, but also scared. There are too many sentences, too many words. I will never learn them all. I made many mistakes. Once I said chicken when I wanted to say kitchen. Another time I asked for soap when I needed soup. People laughed. Some were kind, some were not. But I kept going. I said mistakes mean I'm learning. I started writing new words in a notebook. I said them out loud again and again. I watched more shows. I listened more every day. I failed a little, but every day I also learned a little. It was slow, very slow, but I was moving. I was not stuck anymore. One day, something important happened. I had to go to the doctor again, but this time, no one could come with me. No husband, no friend, no translator. Just me. I was scared. I almost canceled the appointment. But I told myself, no, you've been learning. You are not the same woman from before. You could try. So, I got ready and went at the front desk. The receptionist asked me questions. I understood some words. She spoke. What's your name? Date of birth, I answered. She smiled. That gave me a little hope. Then I sat down and waited. My hands were cold. My mind was full of fear. I thought, what if the doctor speaks fast? What if I don't understand anything? What if I say something wrong? What if he gives me the wrong medicine because of me? My name was called. I stood up. The nurse asked, do you have any pain today? I understood. I said yes, my head hurts. She wrote something. Then she asked, since when? I said 3 days. I couldn't believe it. I was having a conversation, a real one. Not perfect, but real. The doctor came in. He spoke clearly. He asked more questions. I answered slowly, simply. I said, I feel dizzy. He asked if I had eaten that morning. I said no, only coffee. He nodded. He gave me some advice. I understood most of it. Not all, but most. After the checkup, I went to the pharmacy. The pharmacist explained the medicine. I listened carefully. I understood the time. Twice a day, I understood with food. I nodded and said, "Thank you." Then something happened. She looked at me and said, "Your English is good." I didn't know what to say. No one had ever told me that before. I smiled, but inside, something broke like a wall. I wanted to cry, but not from sadness, from relief, from pride. I thought, did she really say that? Me good English? At that moment, I remembered everything. The pain, the fear, the long nights with the TV, the mistakes, the silence, the fake conversations in my kitchen. All of that had brought me here to this moment. It was not a test. It was not a class. It was real life. And for the first time, I understood. I answered. I communicated. It felt like I had climbed a big mountain. Not fast, not easy, but step by step. And now I was at the top. After the day at the doctor, I felt strong. I felt like I had won something big. I told my family. I spoke English today. The doctor understood me, and I understood him. They were proud. I was proud. But something strange happened after that. I thought, now, everything will be easier. I thought I would understand more and more every day, but I didn't. The next week, I went to a parent meeting at my child's school. The teacher spoke fast, too fast. I understood maybe 20%. I smiled and nodded, but inside I was lost again. I left the meeting feeling sad. I thought, why? I was doing so well. Why can't I understand now? That night, I watched a news show on TV. The characters spoke with a different accent. I couldn't follow. I paused, rewound, still confused. I felt like I was back at zero. I told myself, maybe that good day was just luck. Maybe I didn't really learn. Maybe I just guessed the right words that time. I started to lose confidence again. I stopped speaking for a few days. I only listened. I avoided conversations. Then something unexpected happened. One morning, I heard someone cry in the hallway. It was my neighbor. She didn't speak Spanish. She was on the phone. She was saying, "I need help. I don't understand." She was new in the building. I could feel her fear. I remember that feeling. I had lived it. I walked to her. I said slowly, "Are you okay?" She looked at me. I said, "I can help. Tell me." She tried to explain. Her English was not perfect, but I understood her. I helped her call the office. I stayed with her until she calmed down. After that, she said, "Thank you. You speak English very well." I wanted to laugh. Me, the woman who almost gave up last week? I told her, I'm still learning every day. That was the twist. I thought learning English was only about me, about my progress, my fear, my goals. But now I saw something different. Learning English was not only for me. It was so I could help others too. I realized something important. I didn't need to speak perfect English. I just needed to speak. And sometimes my broken English was exactly what someone else needed to hear. Not perfect, but real. Now I'm over 60 years old. Many years have passed since I came to the U.S. I still live in New York. I still speak with an accent. I still make mistakes. But I speak. I understand. I help others. And I'm not afraid anymore. Sometimes people ask me, how did you learn English? I don't give a short answer because the truth is it took time. It took pain. It took failure, but I never stopped. I tell them I learned by listening, by watching, by trying, by failing, and by trying again. I didn't go to school. I didn't take classes. I learned by living. I learned from TV shows, movies, news, and YouTube videos. I learned from my children. I learned from the supermarket. I learned from small conversations. Every moment was a lesson. But the biggest lesson? I had to lose my fear. That was the hardest part. The fear of speaking wrong. The fear of being laughed at. The fear of looking stupid. Once I lost that fear, everything changed. I made peace with my mistakes. I still say the wrong words sometimes, but I don't stop talking. I still ask people to repeat. I still write down new words. And that's okay, because English is not something you finish. It's something you grow with. Now, I help others like me. I talk to people who just arrived. I tell them, I was you. I was silent. I was afraid. But I didn't give up. I sit with them. I listen. I speak slowly. I let them speak. And when they make a mistake, I smile and say, good. That means you're learning. Learning English changed my life. Not because I became rich, not because I got a big job, but because I got my voice back. I could speak for myself. I could protect my family. I could make friends. I could help others. And now I can share my story. So if you're reading this and you feel tired and you think it's too late, I want to tell you something. Don't give up on English. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. One word is the start. One phrase is progress. One mistake is a step forward. Keep going. Keep learning. And remember, you are not alone. Sometimes I ask myself, what if I had given up? What if I had stayed silent forever? I think about that version of me, the one who is scared, confused, and full of doubt. I want to tell her, thank you for not giving up. And now, I want to speak to you. Yes, you, the person learning English right now. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you feel slow. Maybe you feel like you are making too many mistakes. But listen to me. You are doing something brave. You're learning a new language that is not easy, but it is powerful. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Listen, even if you don't understand everything right. Even if you misspell the words. Because every try is progress. One word today, one phrase tomorrow, one conversation next week. I learned English in my kitchen with the TV on, talking to myself. I made mistakes. People laughed. I felt embarrassed, but I kept going. And one day the words came. Slowly, yes, but they came. And now I can say it was worth it. So, my advice to you is simple. Don't stop. Don't hide. Don't wait for perfect. Just start. Because English is not only grammar and words. English is connection. It is confidence. It is freedom. And you're stronger than you think.